Hello, and welcome to my channel. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always, I'm Andrew. Now, today, what I have got for you is I'm always looking for a way for you to understand what my reading taste is, and so I figured I would go ahead and give my lists of all of my basically auto-buy authors at this point, or at the bare minimum, my favorites. If they're not auto-buy, just because they may have some stuff that I'm dubious on, then, you know, they can still have a series that's set within their body of work that I just absolutely adore. And so to get that started, we're going to start with one of my childhood favorites. Now, I just got this book. It was because my copies from a kid, when I was a kid, got ruined twice. And this was a gift from my good friend Niko. I'll go ahead and leave leave the link to his channel down below, sorry. And that is going to be Dragonlance Chronicles by Margaret Wise and Tracy Hickman. I love this so much. I have probably read this trilogy 6 or 7 times, and then I've read the follow-up books. I've read at least 27 books in Dragonlance. I can't even remember all of them, and it all stemmed just from these 3 books. So usually if I see something Margaret Wise or Tracy Hickman, I'm at least going to pull it off the shelf and take a good hard look at it. I love this duo. Now, I talk about this author all the time. It's a relatively new favorite for me. But at the same time, ever since I've read his first book, I cannot stop reading his books. They are amazing. Right now, I am going to read everything he's put out, which at this point is 8 books. And so far, I am on number 5. And that's going to be Mr. John Gwynne. The Faithful and the Fallen is probably one of my top series from last year, if not my top series from last year. Malice starts out a little bit rough, but it was his first book, and then it just ramps up with every subsequent release. I absolutely love everything John Gwynne has put out. He is easily top tier for me, and right now he is on my auto-buy list. Literally, I heard about Shadow of the Gods and immediately pre-ordered. I didn't even read the description. So, Mr. John Gwynne makes the cut. Okay, that's all going to start popping up in the video. I am currently reading through all of the Realm of the Elderlings. I am currently on the 5th book. I'm currently on the 5th book, which is The Mad Ship. And I've already purchased Tawny Man, and I already have the full intention of going to Book Depository to get the Rain Wild Chronicles, and then from there, getting Fitz and the Fool. Fitz and the Fool, I believe it's what it's called? Yeah, Fitz and the Fool. Robin Hobb, she could write about a rainy day, and I'd probably buy the book. Her writing is so beautiful, her character work is amazing, and I just absolutely love her writing. Coming up next, I do currently own all of this author's books, well, all of his novels. I believe there are some graphic novels that I don't own, but that is going to be Mr. Pierce Brown with the Red Rising Saga. I currently have all 5 books of Red Rising, and I cannot wait for the 6th book. Like I said, this was his first release. It's still a bit on the rough side, just like Malice. But once you hit Golden Sun, it's nonstop from there. I cannot wait to start Iron Gold. I think I'm starting Iron Gold this month. Yeah, I am reading Iron Gold this month, and I cannot be more excited to be a part of the read-along over at the Library of Alexandria. If you haven't picked this up, it is fast. It is just, it is gut-wrenching. It is just breakneck, nonstop go. So always check out Pierce Brown. Right now, he's an auto-buy for me. Alright, let's see. Another one of my favorites is going to be The Lord of the Rings, and that includes The Hobbit. Now, I have not read The Silmarillion. I've tried to read The Silmarillion, but I think I was 15 and it just went right over my head. I didn't understand a word of it. I am hoping to remedy that within the next 12 to 13 months. I do want to get another set. I mentioned in another video that the HarperCollins hardcovers with the like illustrated covers and it includes The Hobbit. I need to get another copy of The Hobbit because The Hobbit, growing up, was my favorite book. I've always got to rest this on my shoulder because it's so heavy. Was probably my favorite book growing up before I discovered The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, which is a perfect segue into The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. I love Robert Jordan. I love The Wheel of Time. I'm actually hunting for other books written by Robert Jordan. I do know he did 2 or 3 collections of Conan the Barbarian, and then there's The Warriors of Atalai. I've never actually heard it pronounced, but it was released after his passing very recently, I think within the last 2 to 3 years. And I don't know anything about it, but I just see the name Robert Jordan, and when I finally find it, I'm going to buy it. So yes, Robert Jordan, this is my favorite book of all time, as of right now. I know that the series is a bit on the long side, and it takes a commitment to read through it. But, I mean, I've read the entire series, I think twice. Once or twice. But I've read up to book 11, I think like 3 or 4 times. I have read a lot of Robert Jordan. The next one's not going to come to a surprise as anybody, mainly because he finished The Wheel of Time, and it just popped into view real quick, so I'll go ahead and show you. That is Brandon Sanderson. Any Cosmere novel that Brandon Sanderson puts out is going to be an auto-buy. I don't have any intention of reading his Skyward stuff, simply because I just don't think it's going to appeal to me. But I have gone out of my way to get signed copies of Brandon Sanderson's work, because right now, I mean, I've heard him referred to as the Lord Ruler, and there's a reason for it. I mean, his books are consistently good for how as many as he puts out at such a fast pace. So right now, every Cosmere book that Brandon Sanderson puts out, I'm going to probably buy. Other than the novella collections, I know I haven't read them. I have read some of the novellas. I've read Dawnshard, and I've read what was it called? Dawnshard, and what was Lift's one called? Was it Wave Dancer? Edge Dancer. There we go. Edge Dancer. I knew it would come to me. I have read those. So that's right there. Now, one of my favorite authors who I haven't really bought a whole lot of, but I've read 3 of his series, 2 of them partially, and 1 in full. And that's going to be Mr. Tad Williams. I love the way Tad Williams writes. I love the way he establishes his worlds. I love how he invents his languages. It's always an experience to read his books. I've read, I think, the first 2 in the Other Lens series, and then I think I just got distracted and never went back and finished them. And then I've also read the first 2 of his Bobby Dollar books. First one was great. The second one was pushing the envelope a little bit, so I have not read that. But yes, I love Tad Williams. In fact, this is the first book in Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, and I just picked up the next 2 books in the new trilogy, and I think the third one is releasing this year, and that's going to be an auto-buy for me. So I do love me some Tad Williams. And to kind of close out this list, well, of my physical ones that I actually physically own, because I'm not actually done yet, of the ones I own in physical copies, this is a hopeful to be a new favorite of mine, because I absolutely picked up this book, 1 book, and I ended up buying 13, or getting 13 of his books for my birthday. And that's going to be Sir Terry Pratchett. I loved Guards. If you haven't seen my review, or I don't know, do I have it scheduled to come out yet? I don't know. Anyway, I reviewed this book, and it is a 5 out of 5 for me. It is utter perfection, other than like 6 pages in this where it starts, where I'm kind of confused. But once I was in, nonstop, love it. I went and bought another 12 books. So yes, Discworld, Sir Terry Pratchett, love it. What else can I say? Now, this next author, I believe I have read 25 of his books. And 2 of those are short story collections. Now these are, it's going to show up right here, bam, right there. And that's, of course, going to be Jim Butcher. No, excuse me, I've read 26 of his books. I have read every novel that he has put out, except for I think he did a Spider-Man book that I haven't read. I think he wrote a Spider-Man book. But I've read all of the Dresden Files. I've read his 2 short story collections. I've read all of Codex Alera. And I've read his one Cinder Sapphires book, which I'm still waiting for because I actually really, really liked it once I got into that world. So yes, I love Jim Butcher. Next one's going to be, wham! Drew Hayes. Drew Hayes is, I feel Drew Hayes doesn't get the respect that he needs. He should be everywhere, and he's just not. And to me, that saddens me. His Superpowered series is, perfect coming of age. His Fred the Vampire Accountant is absolutely funny and still really, really good. His NPC series, fantastic. If you love D&D and you're always curious of the what if the NPCs were sentient and the player characters were just interacting with the NPCs within their own world, as in this world is real, and by interacting with the game, you actually just pop in. So it's this really cool dynamic. I absolutely love Drew Hayes' writing. His Villains Code books are also really, really good, and I just love it. And then my guilty pleasure choice, who I have read just very prolifically is going to be Alona Andrews, which is going to be Kate Daniels. It's going to be the Hidden Legacy books, which there I think are now 5 of. There are more series that I just haven't gotten to yet. My TBR just kind of exploded once I discovered BookTube. And so Alona Andrews kind of got put on the back burner. In fact, the Kate Daniels just got a sequel, which is Blood Hair. Blood Air. I always say hair, like hair, and I mean air. Anyway, my speaking ability aside, I do want to read it. It is on my TBR, but it's kind of hidden somewhere in the mountainous pile of books that I now call my life. But other than that, guys, those are my favorite authors. I absolutely love everybody on this list, and I'm hoping that kind of gives you a better understanding of my tastes. And that way, if you want to recommend books to me, you may say, hey, you liked this author, why haven't you checked out this author? Which then I'm going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. If I like this author and you think I'll like this author, it's definitely an auto add to my TBR. And I'm always looking for new authors. Obviously, I have just bought so many books, so there could be authors on my shelves that are going to become new favorites. But that's all in the future. So, like always, check the description below for the link to the Discord. And as always, stay magical. Peace out. Bye.